What is going on, Stephanie White? At any point in this offseason, are you going to actually focus on your team? We're doing another side quest. This is crazy, man. We got fans questioning.
Okay, hold on a second. Before we dive into the explosive headline you saw, Caitlin Clark announces retirement after emotional press conference. Let's clear the air right now. That title, as dramatic as it is, serves as a crucial hook to get you here, because what we're actually discussing today is far more pertinent to Caitlin Clark's immediate future and the Indiana Fever's critical offseason. The internet has been buzzing with confusion and even outrage about why Caitlin Clark wasn't included in the recent Team USA training camp. This clip perfectly captures that initial shock. But what if I told you her absence from this specific camp isn't the biggest issue? The real problem, as many fans and commentators are pointing out, is the perceived distraction of head coach Stephanie White and her involvement in side gigs like this USA basketball camp. We need to dissect whether her focus is truly where it needs to be, especially with the Fever's crucial offseason decisions looming. So, while Caitlin isn't retiring, the implications for her team's success this coming season are absolutely critical.
No Caitlin Clark or Leah Boston for camp this time around. Now, I saw a lot of Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever fans questioning, wait a minute, why wasn't Caitlin involved in this? Why is she not welcome to this?
This clip precisely pinpoints the core of the fan confusion surrounding Caitlin Clark's absence from the Team USA training camp. The immediate reaction from Indiana Fever fans was a mix of disbelief and concern, wondering why the league's biggest star and arguably one of the most impactful players wouldn't be invited to such a significant event. It's a completely understandable reaction, given Clark's undeniable talent and popularity. This moment truly highlights the strong connection fans feel to Clark and their deep desire to see her succeed on every stage, including international competition. The implication for those unaware of the deeper context could easily be misconstrued as a snub or a lack of recognition, which only fuels the narrative we saw in our clickbait title. We need to dig deeper into the actual reasons for her absence and how it connects to the broader issue of the Fever's leadership.
USA Basketball put up this post. All right, it says, see you very soon, Phoenix. The USA basketball women's national team will hold training camp this week in Arizona.
Here, we get the official announcement from USA Basketball, setting the stage for the training camp in Phoenix. This seemingly innocuous post is what triggered much of the discussion and concern, not just about Caitlin Clark's involvement, but more significantly about Stephanie White's role. While these camps are standard procedure for national teams, the timing and the perceived lack of focus from the Fever's head coach have raised serious eyebrows. It's not just about a camp. It's about the context of an incredibly vital offseason for the Indiana Fever, a team with immense potential that desperately needs undivided attention. The announcement itself is straightforward, but the implications, especially for a coach who needs to build a championship contender around a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, are far from simple.
Chloe Peterson was quoted as saying Stephanie White will return as a coach for the training camp in Phoenix, but that's the only Fever representation.
This segment delivers a critical piece of information that truly fuels the speaker's frustration. Stephanie White's return as a coach for Team USA, with no actual Fever players attending the camp. On the surface, a coach getting national team experience might seem like a positive. However, the speaker argues it's a major distraction, especially when the Fever have so much work to do. White, as the head coach of the Indiana Fever, should, in this view, be laser-focused on her team's offseason strategy, player development, and roster construction. The fact that she is the only Fever representation at this camp, particularly when other key players like Caitlin Clark aren't even there, emphasizes the perceived misalignment of priorities. It raises the question, who is steering the Fever ship during this crucial period if the captain is off on a side mission?
But not to worry, I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are already certified on this team. Caitlin Clark just won MVP, so obviously she's already on the big dog team. There's no need for her to show up to this. Now, Sabrina and Asia.
This is where we get the crucial clarification that helps dismantle the initial Caitlin Clark left-off narrative. The speaker explains that for players of Caitlin Clark's caliber, particularly after winning an MVP, attending every training camp isn't always necessary. She, along with Aaliyah Boston, is likely already considered a lock or certified for the main national team roster. This insight is vital because it separates the legitimate concern over Stephanie White's focus from the understandable but ultimately misinformed worry about Clark being snubbed. While the clickbait title certainly got your attention, the reality here is that Clark's talent speaks for itself, and she doesn't need to prove herself at this specific preparatory camp. The larger issue remains the coach's commitment to the Fever's demanding offseason.
Just do it. You're all in March Madness. Okay, you're commentating.
The speaker ratchets up the criticism here, pointing out that White's involvement with USA Basketball isn't her only extracurricular activity. The reference to March Madness and commentating highlights a pattern of side gigs that, in the speaker's view, detract from her primary role as the head coach of the Indiana Fever. While some might argue that these opportunities build experience or a public profile, the speaker's perspective is clear. At this critical juncture for the Fever, her attention should be undivided. This perceived lack of singular focus is what drives the commentary's central argument, that White is not taking this job serious. The concern isn't just about this one camp, but about a broader commitment issue that could impact the Fever's ability to capitalize on their superstar talent.
Okay, we got expansion draft in a few days. The expansion draft is a few days away. Free agency is right around the corner. The WNBA draft is right around the corner. At what point?
This segment powerfully articulates why Stephanie White's perceived distractions are so problematic for the Indiana Fever right now. The speaker rattles off a rapid-fire list of crucial impending offseason events: the expansion draft, free agency, and the WNBA draft. Each of these moments represents a monumental opportunity or a potential pitfall for a team aiming to build around Caitlin Clark. These aren't minor administrative tasks. They are strategic decisions that require meticulous planning, scouting, negotiation, and a deep understanding of the team's needs and future vision. For the head coach to be engaged in external commitments when such high-stakes decisions are right around the corner is, in the speaker's view, an unacceptable misallocation of time and energy. The urgency in his voice underscores the gravity of these upcoming decisions.
Are you someone who completely bombed last offseason? Completely bombed with the signings of Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. You gave a max deal. Like, come on. What are we talking about here?
The criticism against Stephanie White isn't just about her current distractions, it's heavily rooted in past performance, which this clip makes abundantly clear. The speaker directly references White's bombing of the last offseason, specifically calling out the signings of Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner, particularly the decision to give one a max contract. This historical context is vital because it amplifies the concern over her present focus. If the last offseason's key moves were perceived as failures, then her undivided attention during this pivotal offseason becomes even more critical. The speaker's exasperation, "What are we talking about here?" reflects a sentiment that past mistakes should inform present priorities, and that White should be hyper-focused on redemption, not side quests.
What are we talking about here? At what point is Stephanie White going to focus on the Indiana Fever?
This is a direct, emphatic question that encapsulates the speaker's central thesis. Stephanie White's primary allegiance and focus must be on the Indiana Fever. The repetition of "what are we talking about here" underscores the speaker's disbelief and frustration. It's a rhetorical question, demanding an answer to when White will fully commit her mental and strategic resources to the team that employs her as head coach. This isn't just about optics. It's about the tangible impact on roster construction, player development, and ultimately, the Fever's ability to contend. With Caitlin Clark now the centerpiece, the stakes for the Fever are higher than ever, making the coach's undivided attention a non-negotiable requirement in the eyes of many fans and analysts.
And this is from the Indiana Fever. Congrats, coach. Stephanie White will be a court coach at the USA Basketball Women's National Training Camp in April.
The speaker points out that the Indiana Fever themselves announced White's role with USA Basketball, framing it as a "congrats coach" message. This segment is crucial because it highlights the official recognition and perhaps even endorsement of White's side gig by her own team. However, the speaker uses this to further his argument, implying a potential disconnect between what the organization publicly celebrates and what fans perceive as necessary for the team's immediate success. While the Fever's announcement might be a standard public relations move, for a critical observer, it only reinforces the idea that White's attention is being fragmented at a time when complete dedication to the Fever's off-season strategy is paramount. The optics here are just as important as the reality.
I mean, I just feel like I don't feel so comfortable with your mind not being locked in on the task at hand. I guess that's where my real issue and problem lies.
This is a deeply personal and direct statement from the speaker, articulating the root of his concern. It's not just about the specific side gigs, but the underlying feeling that Stephanie White's mind not being locked in on the task at hand is a fundamental problem. This psychological dimension of focus is critical. Building a WNBA contender, especially with the pressures and opportunities surrounding Caitlin Clark, requires total immersion. The speaker's discomfort stems from a perception that White cannot effectively multitask or fully dedicate herself to the Fever while simultaneously engaging in other coaching roles. This segment underscores the sentiment that effective leadership requires complete mental presence, and any perceived deviation from that singular focus becomes a significant issue for the team's prospects.
I don't feel like you can multitask. You couldn't even get it right last season.
The speaker doubles down on his core criticism, directly stating that he doesn't believe Stephanie White can multitask effectively. This is a pointed jab, suggesting that her past performance, specifically highlighted by the failure to get it right last season, indicates a lack of capacity to manage multiple high-pressure roles simultaneously. This isn't just an opinion. It's presented as an observation rooted in her coaching history with the Fever. If White struggled to navigate a single demanding role, the argument goes, how can she be expected to excel when her attention is divided? This directly links her current side gigs to her track record, painting a picture of a coach whose focus is too fragmented for the critical tasks ahead.
We got a bunch of free agents to sign. We have to make sure we bring Sophie Cunningham back. We have to make sure we retain Lexi Hall.
This segment moves from general criticism to concrete examples of the immediate pressing tasks that require Stephanie White's undivided attention. The speaker lists specific free agents like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall, emphasizing the critical need to bring back and retain key players. These aren't just names, they represent vital pieces of the Fever's existing roster and crucial contributors to any potential success around Caitlin Clark. The process of re-signing players involves complex negotiations, strategic planning, and understanding salary cap implications, all tasks that demand the head coach's deep involvement. The enumeration of these specific needs serves to further underscore the argument that White's focus should be solely on the Fever's intricate offseason puzzle, not on external coaching engagements.
What starting power forward are we going to get? I hope you don't think we can go back to the Natasha Howard bin.
The speaker continues to outline specific roster deficiencies, directly challenging White's presumed offseason strategy. The question, what starting power forward are we going to get, highlights a glaring gap in the Fever's lineup, a position that needs immediate and effective addressing. The cutting remark about not going back to the Natasha Howard bin is a clear reference to a past signing that the speaker deemed a failure, reinforcing the idea that White's previous decision-making in free agency was subpar. This isn't just about filling a spot, it's about acquiring the right player who can complement Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, a strategic decision that demands focused scouting, evaluation, and negotiation. This type of critical roster assessment is precisely what the coach should be immersed in.
Who are we going to get to be the starting power forward? Who's going to be the backup point guard? I hope you don't think we can rely on Sydney Colson.
The speaker further dissects the Fever's roster needs, moving beyond the power forward position to the crucial role of backup point guard. This demonstrates a deep understanding of team construction, recognizing that depth behind the starters is just as vital. The dismissal of relying on Sydney Colson for this role is a blunt assessment, implying that current options are insufficient and new talent is desperately needed. A reliable backup point guard is essential for managing rotations, providing offensive stability when the starter rests, and ensuring consistent ball movement. Again, these are intricate strategic decisions that require a coach's full attention during the offseason, reinforcing the argument that Stephanie White's focus should be singularly on the Indiana Fever.
I hope you don't think we can rely on Ari McDonald. She's never gotten through a full season healthy. Are you just automatically trying to go back to Odyssey? Listen, man, we need a plan in place. Damn all of this. We need a plan in place for this season. I don't know what's going on, but come on, we need you to focus up. You out here taking side quests like you did good last offseason.
This is a powerful culmination of the speaker's frustrations. He points out the fragility of the existing roster, specifically referencing Ari McDonald's inability to stay healthy for a full season and the potential reliance on past players like Odyssey Sims. This highlights a lack of reliable depth and a desperate need for fresh, dependable talent. The repeated demand for a plan in place cuts to the heart of the issue, the perceived absence of clear strategic direction. The strong language "damn all of this" underscores the urgency and the speaker's belief that these side quests are actively detrimental. He concludes by reiterating White's perceived failure in the previous offseason, asserting that "y'all absolutely blew it," thereby linking current distractions to a pattern of subpar performance.
At what point are you going to focus on the job at hand, bro? That's my only thing. At what point are we going to lock in?
This segment serves as a strong reiteration of the central question and the speaker's primary concern. The repeated phrase, "at what point are you going to focus on the job at hand?" emphasizes the continuous frustration with Stephanie White's perceived lack of singular dedication to the Indiana Fever. The plea for the team to lock in isn't just directed at the players, but specifically at the coaching staff and, by extension, White herself. This isn't merely a casual observation. It's a profound concern about the leadership necessary to transform a promising roster into a championship contender. The consistent hammering of this point demonstrates its critical importance to the speaker and the perceived high stakes for the Fever's future success.
In Phoenix, the camp will feature Olympic gold medalist Nafisa Collier, Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, Steph Dolson. She won a 3-on-3 gold medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Okay, so I do think some of these players are being evaluated for 3-on-3. I know Ryan Howard.
This clip offers a glimpse into the actual composition of the USA basketball training camp roster, specifically mentioning high-profile players and Olympic medalists like Nafisa Collier, Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, and Steph Dolson. The speaker then makes an important distinction. Some players, like Dolson, a 3x3 gold medalist, might be evaluated for the 3x3 Olympic format rather than the traditional 5-on-5 team. This provides context, showing that not every player at the camp is necessarily vying for the same Olympic roster spot. Understanding the different pathways for selection helps clarify why certain players are present and others, like Caitlin Clark, might not be needed for this particular camp. It adds nuance to the discussion, moving beyond simple inclusion/exclusion to strategic team building.
I am concerned about Stephanie White, man. You need to get the right people in place around Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. I don't think you need to be so worried about USA basketball right now, in my opinion.
The speaker concludes with a clear and concise summary of his primary concern and a direct plea to Stephanie White. The reiterated "I am concerned" underscores the serious nature of his apprehension regarding her leadership. The core message is explicit. White needs to prioritize, get the right people in place around Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. This statement encapsulates the entire argument that roster construction and strategic planning for the Fever are paramount, and any external commitments like USA Basketball are a distraction that she don't need to be so worried about right now. This segment firmly positions the speaker's stance, leaving no doubt about his priorities for the Fever's head coach.